So in 1906, 700 children from the East End came from Shenfield station, which is behind me. They would have walked past the Hutton Junction pub, which is still there, just there, and they walked up the hill that I'm going to walk up in a minute to start a new life. They were coming from the East End of London. A lot of them came from poor families, and at the turn of the century, before then, the only alternative, if they'd been orphaned or were really, really poor, was to go to the workhouse. But 700 children from the East End came to Essex in 1906, and their destination was Hutton Poplars. It's a lovely bit of Edwardian architecture. The whole place, or what's left and remaining of Hutton Poplars, is beautiful example of turn of the century architecture. That would have been the sort of gatekeeper's house there, and there are the gates there where we come in. So just up there, as you can see in the distance, that was the entrance to Hutton Poplars. There was a little gatehouse on the corner, which is now used as for the local bowls club. But yes, when the children came from Shenfield station, they would have come down this road through the gates here and down to Hutton Poplars Training School and the little self-contained village that was here. So we're just coming up to the school building at Hutton Poplars, and here it is. This would have been the actual Bishop's Hill school. It's an old Victorian Edwardian building, and this was used as the school building for the Hutton Poplars Training School back at the turn of the century. And it's now used as an adult education centre, so still retaining its use as a place of education in the community. So again, this is Hutton Poplars, the school building. And it was built in 1906 by George Lansbury, who was at that point an MP in London, in East London, and he was also the leader of the Labour Party at the turn of the century, or towards the first part of the 20th century. And he was also the uncle of, sorry, not the uncle, the grandfather of Angela Lansbury, the actress. And he basically built this training school as an alternative to the workhouses in London. He was a progressive politician, and he didn't think the workhouses were a great place for poor children or families to go to, and so he bought this land in Essex and he turned it into a training school in 1906. It continued as a training school right the way through. There were also children evacuated here during World War II from the East End of London, and it continued to be a children's home right up into the 1970s before it was turned into an adult education centre for the community. So this is Hutton Poplars Hall. This was the dining room of the old training school, and it was built in 1906, as you can see. There are some beautiful stained glass windows inside, and it's now used as a wedding reception venue in Brentwood. But it's a beautiful old building, and there is a clock tower up there that chimes on the hour. So I'm just going to come round into the sun. You probably can't see the clock tower there because of the sun, but yeah, it's a beautiful old building and I love it. And if I ever get married, I'm going to have my wedding reception here. So this is the lovely little village green where I sit on my bench and I just look out on the little field, well, village green. And this was all part of the industrial training school at the turn of the century. You can get a better view of the clock tower here. I've just moved away from the sun, but it does chime on the hour and the half hour. We've just missed the chime now, but as I say, it is one of my favourite buildings, and there's the little bench that I sit on just down there, and there you go, that's the green. So imagine all those Victorian and Edwardian children and those children in the 70s playing here on the village green, having come from the East End of London all the way out to sunny Essex.